Hi everyone, this is our day 4 of lesson 28. And we are going to start off today with our white arrow. Our white arrow says, I can tell the beginning, middle, and ending sounds in short words. Today we're going to look at the beginning sound and we're going to get rid of it. Okay, so when I slide my finger under, you tell me the word. Get rid of our beginning sound, and now my word is. Okay, my next word. Think about my word. It is. Get rid of our beginning sound, and now my word is. Okay, next word. Get rid of your beginning sound, and now the word is. Okay, think about this word. Get rid of the beginning sound, and now my word is. Okay, think about this word. Get rid of your beginning sound, and now the word is. Okay, think about this word. Get rid of your beginning sound, and now the word is. Okay, and our last word, think about it. Word is. Get rid of your beginning sound, and now the word is. Okay, next up we're moving on to our purple arrow. Our purple arrow says, I can tell how words are used in real life. Your real life words this week are assures, audience, chorus, determined, enthusiasm, and stomped. Okay, we're going to talk about a few of these words today. First one, what is something that you are determined to do? And use that word determined as you talk about that word. What is something that you are determined to do? Okay, and when did you feel a lot of enthusiasm for something? When was a time that you felt a lot of enthusiasm for something? Use that word enthusiasm in your response as you're talking about it. Okay, and our last one, how would you feel if you stomped your feet? If you stomped your feet, why would you be doing that? What feelings would you be feeling to make yourself stomp your feet? Okay, and there's a couple different feelings you could be feeling. Okay, so one more time, these three words were the words we talked about. So when is a time you were determined to do something? When have you felt enthusiasm for something? And how would you be feeling if you were stomping your feet? Okay, after you're done talking about those three words, I want you to pick one of these words and use it in a 1-star, 2-star, or a 3-star sentence. Okay, our next arrow is our gray arrow. It says, I can read first grade words that aren't spelt the way they sound. Our words for today are caught, took, listen, thought. One more time, caught, took, listen, thought. The first one is, spell it, say it again. Next one, spell it, say it again. Next one, spell it, say it again. And our last one, spell it, and say it again. Okay, on our next page, when I slide my finger under, you tell me the word. Okay, our next arrow is our red arrow. Our red arrow says, I can put sounds together to speak words. Remember, our sounds for this week are our long I sounds. We've got IGH saying I, Y saying I, IE saying I, and then we've got those suffixes that we are practicing again. So we've got ED saying t, d for id, ING saying ing, ER saying EST saying est, and ES saying es. We're going to go through some of our sound cards today, and we're also going to review all of our long vowel sounds, okay? So our first one, though, is table, saying O-L-E. Your turn. Card, sound, spelling, okay? And then here's the start of our long vowel cards. First one, card is ice cream, sound I, spelling I, sound I, spelling I, consonant E, sound I, spelling I-E, sound I, spelling I-G-H, and sound I, spelling Y. Your turn. Card, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling. Okay, our next long vowel card is acorn. Sound A, spelling A, consonant E. Sound A, spelling A-Y. Sound A, spelling A-Y. Your turn. Card, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling. Card, ocean, sound O, spelling O. Sound O, spelling O, consonant E. Sound O, spelling O-A. Sound O, spelling O-W. Your turn. Card, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling. Card, uniform, sound U, spelling U, consonant E. Your turn. Card, sound, spelling. Eagle, sound E, spelling E. Sound E, spelling E, consonant E. Sound E, spelling E-E. Sound E, spelling E-A. Sound E, spelling Y. And sound E, spelling I-E. Your turn. Card, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling, sound, spelling. Okay, I'm going to go through our sound row with us. I will do the row at a time, and then you copy me. O or oo, I, short sound A, long sound A. Your turn. Sound, two sounds, or, short sound, long sound. Short sound E, short sound E, long sound E. Short sound I, long sound I. Short sound A, long sound O. Short sound long sound U. Your turn. Short sound, long sound. Short sound, long sound. Short sound, long sound. Short sound, long sound. K. Short A, long E. A. Short E, long E. Sound, short sound, long sound, short sound, long sound. Okay, next one. O or ow, E or qua. Okay, sound, two sounds, or short sound, long sound, and perfect. Okay. Okay, and the suffixes that we are going to practice for today. Remember, suffixes are a part that comes at the end of the word and they change the meaning. So this suffix has three sounds. It says t, d, or id, spelling ed, meaning happening before. Your turn. Suffix says spelling, and it means, okay, this suffix says ing, spelling ing, and it means happening now. Your turn. Suffix says spelling, and it means, okay, this suffix says ly, spelling ly, and it means in a certain way. So sound, suffix says spelling, and it means, and our last suffix says e, and it means full of, and its spelling is y. So suffix says spelling, and it means, okay, on this page, we're going to go through our suffix sounds. So as I point, you tell me the sound the suffix says. Three sounds. Okay, and then we are going to move on to our black arrow. Our black arrow says, I can read out loud like a teacher. Okay, we are going to practice some of those suffixes again. So I am going to spell your base word today. Okay, I want you to sound it out. And when I slide my finger under, you tell me what it is. And I am going to put this suffix at the end, and it's going to say, and so my word is, and my word one more time is, okay? Next one, I'm going to spell you the base word. Word is. And I'm going to double up my R and put my suffix at the end, and my suffix says, so my word is, one more time. Okay, my base word says, my suffix says, and put it together, one more time. Okay, this base word says, and I'm going to add this suffix on the end, and it says, put it together, one more time. Okay, base word says, my suffix says, put it together, one more time. Okay, and my last one, my base word is, and my suffix is going to say, and put it together, one more time. Okay, if you need to, pause the video and practice these words one more time before we go on to the next page. Okay, on our next page, I'm going to put my finger to the side, and when I slide it under, you tell me the word. Here we go. Okay, again, pause that video if you need to practice those words so that you can read them as quickly as my finger zoomed. Okay, and then I'm going to read you our story for today. Our story is benches. So you can either pause the video and read this along with me, or go and find it in Think Central, Unit 6 or Book 6, Lesson 28, and benches. Benches, benches, benches. See them in cities, see them in towns, see them in parks, see them at beaches. Benches, benches. Benches are like outside couches. They are good places to sit. Kids sit on benches in yards and parks. Buddies can sit side by side and chat. Dogs and puppies go out on leashes. Grown-ups, kids, and pets sit on benches. Benches are good for sitting and resting. Kids eat lunch on benches. Many kids have lunch boxes. When lunchtime is over, the kids might sit and rest on benches. Then they might play ball or jump rope. Kids read books on benches. Kids read the funnies and comics too. Kids read on benches when it is sunny and bright. When it rains, benches are not good places for reading. Kids play games on benches. Some kids are winners, some kids don't win. Still, kids like playing games outside. Moms, dads, and kids sit on benches at beaches. This dad likes to watch the sea flow in and out. What a sight! Benches for you and benches for me. On city streets or at the sea, I should sit and you should too, on benches at parks or at the zoo. Okay, remember you need to read that story 3 times, okay? So do a read in your head, do a practice read out loud where maybe you're still sounding some of the words out. And then the third time or the last time you read it, you should be reading it like a teacher, like I just did. Okay, next arrow, we're going to move on to our yellow arrow. And our yellow arrow says, I can use sight words and spelling patterns to help me spell words correctly. Okay, you need to grab yourself a piece of paper and some things you write with. And again, I'm not going to show you a spelling card because we've got some different long vowels in our words today. Okay, so my first word is beaches. We don't have very many beaches in Idaho. Beaches. My word is beaches. Next one, tight. You do not want your bracelet or your watch on too tight. My word is tight. Next one, side. That is me and I sighed. The word is side. Okay, and our last one is a name. So make sure you start with a capital because it's a name. And the word is Ty. My word is Ty. Ty is a boy's name, Ty. Okay, so one more time. My words are beaches, tight, side, and tie. Okay, our last arrow for today is our brown arrow. And our brown arrow says, I can find things that are the same and different in two nonfiction books about the same thing. We don't have two nonfiction books this week because one of our stories was fiction, which was Toad and Frog. And our second story for this week is called Measuring Weather. This story is a nonfiction story and it is a teaching story. Okay, it is going to teach us about different ways that we can measure weather. Okay, so I'm going to read this story to you, and then we're going to talk about some things that are the same in our two stories this week and some things that are different. Okay, measuring weather. There are different tools for measuring weather. Have you heard of a windsock? It shows which way the wind blows. The rain gauge measures how much rain falls. A large storm will bring a lot of rain. A thermometer measures temperature. Temperature is how warm or cool something is. On a hot day, you and your friends might like to ride bikes or play ball. On a cold day, you might want to put a coat and play in the leaves or build a snowman. When you know the temperature, you know what to wear. So we talked about 3 different ways to measure weather on this page. We talked about the windsock, which was one of them. Does anybody remember how that measured weather? What did that do? Okay, and then we talked about a rain gauge. What does a rain gauge do? And we also talked about a thermometer. What does a thermometer do for us? Look at the bars across this graph. Each bar shows the temperature for a day. Which day was the hottest? So if you look at that graph, the longest one is Wednesday. So Wednesday was the hottest. It was almost 70 degrees that day. Which day was the coolest? So if I look at the bar that's the shortest, that's Thursday. So Thursday was the coolest where it was almost 40 degrees. And which was the temperature on the second day of the week? So here's our second day of the week. And the temperature was almost 60. Okay. All right, so this was our second story for this week, measuring weather. What is something that made that story the same as our frog and toad story? So I want you guys to think about something that made this story the same as our frog and toad story and talk about these two stories. What is something that made these two stories the same? Okay, so if I were to talk about something that made these two stories the same, I could say in both of these stories, they kind of talked about weather. Because in order for a kite to fly, what type of weather does it need to be? Okay, so in order for a kite to fly, it needs to be kind of windy. So which one of these things to measure do you think Frog and Toad would use? I think they would use the wind gauge because the wind gauge tells them which way the wind is blowing, and that would be mighty helpful for them in trying to fly their kites. Okay, and what is something that made these two stories different? What's something that made the kite different than measuring weather? If I were to say something that made these two different, I would say that this story is a fiction story because frogs can't really fly kites. But this story is a nonfiction story, and it was teaching us about different ways to measure weather. What is a way that you think these two stories are different? Okay, after you are done talking about that, you have a couple assignments for today. First off, you need to make yourself use one of our vocabulary words from this week and write yourself a 1-star, 2-star, or 3-star sentence. You need to make sure you read our last story for this week called Benches, which remember you can find on Think Central. You need to read our second story for this week, which is called Measuring Weather. And lastly, you'll have a couple of worksheets that you need to do on our page for today. So those are your assignments for reading for today. Make sure you get those done. And that is the end of our day 4 video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.